Hey there, thanks for checking out Prehook. My name is Gen Furukawa. I'm a co-founder at Prehook, and today I want to show you how to set up your product recommendations. Now first, why does a product recommendation even matter for a quiz taker? And the reason is because the goal in terms of driving conversions is to make it as easy as possible for your shopper to find the products they want, add it to checkout, and add it to their cart and then check out. So the recommendation quiz will help you identify what the preferences and interests are, what product makes the most sense, and then at the very end, you will surface those recommendations to the shopper. So it's very similar to if you're going to a store in person. The store clerk might ask you a few questions, then say, hey, this is the right product for you. Would you like it? And so this is what we're doing with a quiz. Now, I am just taking a random template that we've set up. You can do this with any of the templates or the quiz that you're building yourself from scratch. Now, there are a few things that I want to note about a recommendation quiz. So for Prehook, right now, there are two endings to a quiz. You can do a product recommendation in which you show the product at the end, or you can just do a thank you, which is a static page, and then you can have a link out. So for example, it might go to your best sellers or your about us or your homepage. But every quiz needs to have a specific ending. So that's often where I think a good place to start is. And to create your recommendation, first you would want to add a product recommendation. So this is a sample of what the recommendations are. And now you can see after we've added the product recommendation, all of a sudden these tags, which you see here, you can actually click through on those. And so the recommendation works as a voting system. That means that you are linking a product to every quiz response that you think is relevant in order to determine what the product recommendation should be. And at the very end of the quiz, Prehook will tally up which products have the most votes, and therefore it will recommend the products with the most votes. So this might make more sense if we actually go into it. So for example, let's just pretend this is a clothing template. So we're selling clothes. What style best describes you? So here, to create the recommendation, we click this link here, and it's to include or exclude products. If we include it, if the shopper selects classic, then any product that is included with classic will get a vote. If we exclude a product, so for example, if we have a piece of clothing that is not classic and would not be appropriate if the person is looking for classic, we would exclude it. But please note that if you exclude a product, it won't appear at all at the end of the product recommendation. So we want to be very thoughtful of what we exclude. If we don't want to include it and don't want to exclude it, you can just omit it and nothing would happen. So if we include a product, we can go through and search our inventory, our list of products. You can also search, use a search bar. So for example, if I wanted to find denim, I could type denim and then there, I would add the denim. The same with exclude. You can exclude just as many products. So if I wanted to exclude all shirts for this example, I can do that here and just go through, click, and then add these as excludes. You want to go through, think about which products make most sense to include and exclude as you go through, and you're thinking about the recommendations in terms of what the customer or the shopper is responding to in the quiz. Now I want to show you what some of the settings are, because you can certainly customize your recommendations page, the final page, to be as compelling a pitch to your shoppers as possible. So here on the recommendation page, you can add text here. So for example, like these are your recommendations. One quick note here is that you can use the recall feature. So recall, you just simply add the @ symbol. So for example, here, if we got their name as the very first question. So these are your recommendations for you. And then I would say, my name is Gen. That's how I would have answered it. So I'd say, these are your recommendations, Gen. So it's a nice small way to personalize it. If we go into the settings, here are some of the things that you might want to note. We can add a description for more detail. This might just be like, no free returns, free shipping, etc., or whatever it might be that makes sense to you. You can add a description. You can also add an image, which would appear right here. above the recommendations, the product recommendations. Now, in terms of the number of products, this is the max number of products here. So Prehook will recommend up to 3. It does not mean that we will absolutely recommend 3, but up to 3. And then, of course, you can add to cart, and you can limit the number of products that a customer can add to cart. If you'd like, if you don't want the add to cart, maybe, for example, it's a higher price point product, so people don't necessarily just purchase, you can hide that add to cart. And if you'd like, you can actually just change it to a link to the product description page. Both of these buttons can be customized. So you can say, hey, I want to learn more or something, and then it would customize the button. Likewise, you can include the text or not, and variants. So if, for example, there are different colors or different sizes, you can group all these together in a dropdown, or you can just hide it. And then show out of stock or untracked products. This makes sense if, for example, you're a drop shipper and you're not necessarily tracking your inventory levels, or it's a digital product and you don't have inventory per se. You might want to toggle this on so that you are always going to have in stock. And now I always recommend to go through a quiz. So I clicked preview here. Then you can preview how the quiz looks, and you can get all the way to the bottom and you can see what the recommendations are. So of course, this is just our sample store, but this is how the recommendations would look. So that's it. I think the recommendations are really important to help you get your customers from point A, what questions do I need to answer, what product am I looking for, to point B, which is this is the exact product that I want, let's add to cart and check out. So with that said, thanks for checking out Prehook and setting up your quiz. Product recommendations are super important. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, support@prehook.com. Can't wait to see what you do with the quiz. Thanks. Bye.